And this recording is a brief follow-up on vocabulary and morphology to address two topics, word sorting and multi-meaning words. There are 10 principles of word sorting. 1. Look for what students use but confuse. 2. A step backward is a step forward. 3. Use words that students can read. 4. Compare words that do and don't. 5. Sort by sound and sight. The principles continue. 6. Begin with obvious contrasts. 7. Don't hide exceptions. 8. Avoid rules. 9. Work for automaticity. 10. Return to meaningful texts. So we've got 10 principles to guide us, but why would we engage in word sorting activities? Well, one reason is that it gives an analytic versus a synthetic approach, so it's investigative instead of direct teaching. Another reason is the more words that students are exposed to, the more practice they get with reading and making meaning. We can compare and contrast when we're sorting. This is a higher order thinking skill, but it's also natural to how our brain works, right? We look for patterns. There are 3 types of sorts. One might be sorting for a sound, another sorting for a pattern, and finally sorting for meaning or concepts. To implement the word sort on Canvas, you'll find a document from the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction that gives some materials and procedures for implementing a word sort in the middle grades. This sort that's included on Canvas gives the option for open or closed. Open is where students investigate and find what the pattern they're sorting for is. Closed is the teacher decides ahead of time and students sort to conform with that pattern. You can monitor progress with word sorting, so some ways to do that might be observe how students are sorting, conference with students about their sort, or have students keep record of their sorting. They could do photos, they can cut and paste, write in a journal about their sorting so that over time you can see any changes and development in their word recognition and morphological awareness. There are different variations. For example, you could do speed sorting, word hunts, you can draw, label, cut, paste, have students do sorts in the whole group and then individually. For the topic of multi-meaning words or polysemous words, the whiteboard includes a focus on homographs, or words that are spelled the same but have different meanings and may be pronounced differently. Bow, like part of a ship, or bow, to bend from the waist. Tear and tear, for example. I've got a slide that has the word throw, and the word throw is above 4 pictures. One is a throw rug. 1 or 2 Lego Star Wars figures maybe throwing a battle down. Another is a group of people at a birthday party, and so we could think of throwing a party. Another is a visual image of somebody getting sick, and so we can think of throw up. So the word throw appears in the picture and is represented with 4 different possible meanings, and there are even more than 4 that could come to mind. But it's a simple word, and so students would encounter it, and it's important to think about how we can build students' awareness of multi-meaning words using context, using explicit instruction, positioning them to think flexibly. But if we think of this word throw, would you classify it as a homonym, a heteronym, a homograph, or a homophone? To figure out which one it is, you'll have to use your own morphemic awareness to think about the meaning of the prefix, suffix here, and the roots for homo, hetero, nym, graph, and phone. There's a recommended book list that I'm providing in picture form here. Some titles that can help introduce students in elementary grades to the concept of multi-meaning words. One is Did You Say Pears by Arlene Alda, Dear Dear by Jean Beretta. 8-8 is A Feast of Homonym Riddles by Martin Turbin. The King Who Reigned and A Chocolate Mousse for Dinner. Both of these are written and illustrated by Fred Gwynne, who you might know as Herman Munster if you watch the Addams Family. How much can a bear bear bear? What Are Homonyms and Homophones is by Brian Cleary. There's a study that I did with my colleague Karen again on teaching English learners with reading difficulties to read and write semantically ambiguous riddles. So we used multi-meaning words. We explicitly taught multiple definitions of the words through a explicit instruction teaching routine, and then had students practice reading and writing riddles with the words, and we found a functional relation in the design. So we saw that when we trained students to recognize these multi-meaning words and when they could read and write riddles, their comprehension on curriculum-based measures increased over time compared to their baseline where they didn't have that direct instruction on what the multi-meaning words meant. Here are some websites and resources that can help you build your own word knowledge, morphemic awareness. One is the online etymology dictionary, so it can help you learn more about historical roots and identify relationship between words, like two and twin. So the URL is www.etymoonline.com. There are 4 vocabulary websites that I've used and recommend and think have good content on them. So one is the Vocabulagic blog, Flowcabulary, Vocabulary A to Z, and readwritethink.org. If you haven't yet watched Gina Cook's TED Talk video on making sense of spelling, this can also help you build your morphological awareness.